Okay, so this is my first live video. I don't normally do these things because I don't like to post myself in public without being prepared. You know, like a musician practices their pieces, like uh, like a speaker wants to rehearse what they have to say before they say it. So I'm really angry about this whole election. I know a lot of you are because, frankly, none of us got what we wanted. So there's a lot that needs to be discussed. I've written it all down. It may take a little while to go through it, but just bear with me. Um, if you have any questions, just post them down below, um, and I will get to them as I see them or whatever. There's a lot of material that I'm about to cover. Let me just review what I'm going to go over so that you know whether this is relevant or not to you. I want to talk about things like DNC corruption and WikiLeaks. I want to talk about the necessity of green renewable energy. I also want to talk about the need to build a progressive coalition. Since the conservatives are so well organized, that's something that we should take a cue from them, since they seem to win so damn much. I also want to discuss big money in politics, and also the effects of Clinton and Bush policies on our country, since we don't want to have an honest discussion and look at ourselves for what we've helped cause and ignore this whole time. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to go ahead and say the truth hurts because this is our fault. We didn't pay attention. We relied on the big money of mainstream media. We thought it would be better to fight one another than to actually work together towards common goals. And this is what happens when you do that. So hopefully we can all learn something today, and hopefully I can contribute meaningfully to this conversation. You'll have to forgive me because I'm very emotional about this whole thing. I don't even want to be talking right now. But people need a clear direction. So I've put it down in an outline form so that I can calmly discuss this. And again, if you want to comment or question, just post it below. Okay, so to start with the DNC corruption and WikiLeaks, the establishment basically coronated Hillary Clinton 2 years ago. They've been pushing her on us as if she was some kind of godsend, some kind of monarch that God had said, oh, you are the one divinely chosen to rule this nation. No, that's not how things work here. The United States is in opposition to monarchy. We are in direct defiance to bloodlines or families ruling over the nation and the globe. That is the point here. We're supposed to have a constitutional democratic republic, not some special rich person on high who confers their policies down upon us. That's not how this is supposed to work. If you want to have a peaceful revolution, you have to recognize that we are a nation with laws, and not even Hillary Clinton is above the rule of law, okay? Not Hillary Clinton, not Donald Trump, not Obama. None of you motherfuckers, okay? Not me. I'm a peaceful citizen. I contribute to society. Why can't you? Why do you have to, prop up your monopolies just to make money off of us? Okay? That's not how we want this to work. Money is not the supreme savior. The love of money is the root of all evil, and that's where we've gotten now as a country, because we've put the GDP above people. Like, what the fuck, okay? So the mainstream media basically coronated Clinton. She was getting a few hundred people at her public speeches, whereas Bernie Sanders was getting tens of thousands. And then when the DNC ignored the roll call during the national convention, Sanders won that morning. They decided they didn't like that result, despite the fact that he was polling better than Donald Trump the entire time. So they waited until later in the day, they recounted, and then Clinton won, and now you have this clusterfuck that we have now. It's your fault, DNC. We tried to stop you, but you wouldn't listen to us. In addition, you have WikiLeaks, which has been trying its damnedest to make this transparent. That's the only reason the Obama administration was transparent at all, because you had an independent group like WikiLeaks. They have a 100% accuracy rate. The DNC never argued that what they were posting was incorrect. What they argued was that it was Russian propaganda or something. Russia is an ally. We share a space station with them. And on top of that, Clinton, you want to give 20% of U.S. uranium reserves to Russia through Uranium One, and then you want to make them an enemy after you've done that. Okay, that's not a friend. That's a conniving bitch, is what that is. And I'm going to call you the way you are. I hope you're seeing this right now with your NSA access to mass surveillance, okay? Because I want you to know how I feel about you. So the media colluded, basically, as WikiLeaks revealed through the John Podesta emails. They were colluding to prop up Trump so that we could do the lesser evilism thing and vote for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is more evil than Donald Trump. I'm glad the election worked out the way it did. I would have rather had Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein win, but you get what you deserve. Period. Karma's a bitch when you're a bitch. I'm sorry, I've been really angry. I've said some mean things to my friends. I really didn't mean to. I wanted to be left alone, but everybody has so many questions and no one knows what's going on, so I'm here to hopefully shed some light on the situation, even though I don't want to be. New Zealand is sounding really nice right now. Yes, David. Anyway. So in addition to this lesser evilism bullshit, first of all, you vote on the policies you want. Not the party, not the person. You support policies. Frankly, the policies from both the Clinton and the Bush administration have been complete shit. Complete shit. You sold out. Your third-way Democratic bullshit sold out to corporations and capitulated to the Reaganites. You didn't represent anyone except your own pocketbook, okay? And I hope everybody can hear this. Same progressives, real progressives, Democracy Now!, all my anonymous friends, Occupy, Bernistas. Y'all need to hear the harsh truth because rose-tinted glasses are not working, okay? Have a lot to cover, so I gotta keep it together. Slow down, Joe Michael. In addition to the lesser evilism, there were also a multitude of exit polling discrepancies. Now, I don't want to say that the George Soros-funded machines were miscounting votes. However, if what exit polls we had showed that Bernie Sanders wins when supposedly Hillary Clinton had won and then they certified that, is that real? Is that real democracy? Or even a republic, honestly? Doesn't sound like either to me. I love you too, Megan. I'm sorry, I'm a bitchy queen right now. Okay, so yeah. In addition to the exit polling discrepancies, you had, for example, California. They decided not to count 2.5 million votes, at least. They counted what they wanted to until Hillary had her win. They certified it, and then they said, fuck you guys, we don't give a shit what you think, because Hillary is Queen of America. Yeah, she's been deposed. Yeah, go ahead. Move to one of those countries where we can't extradite you. That's probably your best choice right now, Ms. Clinton, and probably you too, Obama, because you're complicit too. Hi, Brenda. I still have a lot more to cover. So yes, there was not so much voter fraud as electoral fraud. The entire establishment worked to suppress our votes because they don't care what we think. They want to prop up their failing system that is both bankrupting us and also destroying the planet. We don't have time. Jill Stein or Bernie Sanders were our chance now. I hope we can make it another 2 years. Good luck. So that brings us to our next point of the necessity of green energy. I love you too, Brenda. I love all y'all. I'm just not a happy camper right now. So, to start, we could have began transitioning to green energy decades ago. But you have, we subsidize fossil fuels. That's why the Koch brothers are so fucking rich and why they can afford to lobby and control our electoral process. Because we subsidize them. You know, over half of Americans are living in poverty right now, but somehow we can afford to give billionaires more money. Okay, sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue to cut the social safety net because that's the real problem. Let's not discuss the fact that 50% of our budget's going to militarism across the world. Let's not discuss the fact that we spend as much as the next 10 countries combined on our military despite them all being our allies. Whatever, somehow we have to defend ourselves from the people who are allies. I don't get it, but whatever. Go NATO, yay! Anyway, so with green energy, gasoline is about $2 a gallon. It was 4 or 5 towards the beginning of the Obama administration. So, do we really need more pipelines? Do we really need more pipelines? No, we don't. We need to get off fossil fuels. We need to plant more trees. But I'm just the voice of reason here. I also wanted to talk about the Dakota Access Pipeline in relation to green energy. Yes, you have all the major banks, Clinton's donors, Trump's donors supporting this pipeline. We don't need it. It's going to provide less than 35 long-term jobs. So the jobs reasoning is not a good excuse. If it were providing maybe 3,000 or 4,000 jobs, I might understand. But it's not helping our economy, really. It's helping the pocketbooks of the fossil fuel industry and the bankers. And those are the kinds of people that really run this country, if you wanted to know. If you don't, just leave this video and just go back to your fairy world. I don't really give a shit because I don't have time for people not looking for a solution. I only have time for people who want to work together for common goals, okay? So some of my friends have been organizing a supply run from Chattanooga. I'm very proud of them. I'm only a slight bit indigenous. I have a little bit of Cherokee on different parts of my sides. Obviously, I'm mostly white and I can pass as that, so I have the privilege of, you know, being a white person in American society. I'll admit that, but I also know where I came from. So, yeah, we don't need the Dakota Access Pipeline. First of all, we already stole all of Turtle Island. The majority of my ancestors, the Germans, the British, the Dutch, all the palefaces, they came here, they killed my ancestors, your ancestors, you know, the largest genocide in modern history. We don't talk about it. We just demonize Hitler and then forget about the real tragedy that our ancestors did. This country's been at war basically since we began. We need to face that. We've also been at war since 2002 globally. We need to face that too. Real people are dying. If you were in another country and the US came in with a flying robot and blew up your children, how would you feel? Obama every Tuesday signs, it's called Bloody Tuesday because he signs off on who the drones are going to bomb next. What's to stop them from bombing here? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Just his whims, or whoever Donald Trump's whims. See, Donald Trump has the same powers that Obama has now. And he at least is not pretending to be a Democrat. Hi, Katie. I love you, sis. A lot of hard stuff to talk about today. So, we want to talk about where our domestic energy comes from and green energy. 50% of domestic energy production is from fossil fuels. I understand there's, you know, maybe a few thousand people or whatever that are still working for the coal industry. Your federal government has a responsibility once those technologies become obsolete to train you to find a new job and help you find a new job. That's part of the problem post NAFTA is that program didn't work. Besides NAFTA not working, the transition program didn't work. You're right. Our government should be afraid of us. And we could make it afraid if we quit being little pussyfoots. I'm gay and I said pussy. Oh well. Next. So we know that most of our energy production is from non-renewable energy. Also, people try to espouse nuclear energy as a viable green energy. It's not renewable. Uranium and plutonium are limited resources. They're not infinite. Neither is gasoline. Neither is natural gas. Frack no. No, Dapple, we're done. In addition to nuclear energy not being renewable, we have no place to store the spent nuclear energy. It was originally slated to go to Nevada. Harry Reid blocked that, as he rightly should. Do you want wasted nuclear fuel sitting in your state? Not me. Has Fukushima ever been cleaned up? Has Chernobyl ever been cleaned up? So what happens when the next nuclear catastrophe happens? Nothing. We suffer. Because we didn't think about this ahead of time. So yeah. The real alternatives are solar, geothermal, wind, and a multitude of others. Hell, even in Europe, they've designed a new biofuel. It sequesters carbon from the atmosphere, and I don't know what the chemical process is, but they pull carbon from the atmosphere and use it to make a new type of fuel for a new type of car. The technology's out there, it's just being suppressed because we're scared of trying something new, I guess. I don't know. Or the fact that the people are making too much money to want to make an effort to do the right thing. I don't know. So yeah, this has been the hottest year on record. We can ignore global warming, or we can recognize that carbon dioxide and methane are greenhouse gases. Oh my gosh, the thing that we have been preaching for years is actually true. Oh my god. Y'all never listen. Hopefully you're listening now. And it's also been the hottest set of years since 2002. We began recording in, I believe, 1877 or something like that. The green technology exists. You have Elon Musk. He's got his Gigafactory in Nevada. It's the largest factory ever to produce and research and develop lithium-ion batteries. It's there. He also has Solar City. Solar City's been actively fought against by people like Warren Buffett because the business model of Solar City, what they do is they finance you solar panels, and your monthly cost is less than your electric bill. And that cuts out people who would prefer to manipulate you and make you pay more. And that's why Elon Musk has been fighting so hard on that. Plus, he has his Tesla company, which has excellent electric cars. A little bit out of my price range, you know, since 70% of Americans now make less than $33,000 a year. Their lowest model car starts at $35,000, so Elon, if you want me to be a product ambassador, I'd love to do that for you. Anyway, needed some brevity because this is some very tense stuff, so little joke there. Okay, so let's continue on to discuss the Progressive Coalition. Frankly, conservatives have long been incredibly well organized. You know, being that we are a republic, that emboldens them to think that everything they do is correct. I am more apt to side with people like George Washington, you know, one of the main founders of our country. He didn't believe in political parties. He also didn't believe in foreign entangling alliances. We obviously didn't listen. Political parties have encouraged the herd mentality. It's us versus them. Everything they do is wrong. Everything we do is right. That's incorrect. At this point, I consider myself no party affiliation, independent, maybe even anarchist. That doesn't mean violent. That means I rule myself. But we're supposedly living in a constitutional democratic republic, so I'm going to press on under that awareness, and hopefully we can maintain that without becoming a complete oligopoly. So, in regards to this Progressive Coalition, I want to reference what Stephen from Real Progressives is saying because I was sounding too conservative or libertarian for him. Balanced budget is basically doublespeak for cutting social programs and increasing military funding. We don't need more military funding. The main aggressors globally are us. The terrorists have been created by our blowback. Things like propping up a Jewish state since 1947. I know it's taboo to criticize Israel. I'm going to do it anyway. There are Palestinian people dying. They were there before Israel was. Not even going to talk about what the Bible says about Israel, because we're a secular pluralist society. This is not a Christian theocracy, and I will fight to the death to prove you wrong about that. So yeah, we used to have an excellent social safety net post-Great New Deal. We tried to fix it with the Green New Deal. No one listened. They preferred the third-way Democrats. That failed you yet again. So now we have Donald Trump as president. Congratulations. We have 2 years until the midterm. This was the lowest voter participation since what, 2001, 2002? Midterms are even lower. We could easily have progressives infiltrate the Congress. All you have to do is register to vote and vote for them. If you don't want to vote progressive, I don't care. But it's a shame when we have ancestors and even living relatives who fought so hard to maintain peace in this country, to maintain our ability to vote and on leadership and peacefully transition from one regime to another. Yet for some people that doesn't matter at all. I don't understand why you don't cherish your ability to vote versus going to war over settling disagreements. But obviously, I'm living in The Walking Dead right now, obviously. And sometimes I'd rather be living in The Purge at this rate. I'm non-violent. I just have a morbid sense of humor. I'm sorry. I do really need to meditate, but I have to get through this. I'm not even halfway through yet. So yes, conservative Ayn Rand policies have completely failed us. I voted libertarian in the past. I supported Dr. Ron Paul. I appreciated his criticisms of the Federal Reserve because everyone's afraid to. The only people who criticize the Federal Reserve, the ones that are in power, tend to get shot. That includes JFK, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln. Hell, even Jesus Christ stood up against the money changers, and he was crucified by the state. Yet Christians support Donald Trump. Okay. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care what you vote for because obviously you're ill-informed. We have 2 years to remedy this. Let's get to work. It's going to be a long fight because we're going to have to be fighting against him even more than we had to fight against Obama, and that's a shame to say. But it is what it is. You reap what you sow, and you live with it. So yes, it's my opinion, going back to the Ayn Rand talk. Thanks, Amar, I love you too. Libertarian policies benefit corporations. Dr. Ron Paul was critical of the supposed free trade agreements because he saw them as what they were. Corporate trade agreements. The ones who lobby and control our government are the same ones who get beneficial legislation passed on their behalf because they have money, and because we allow lobbying, and because we have Citizens United, because somehow a corporation is a person, yet they lack a heartbeat, a family, and they're immortal, evidently. Must be nice. Hi, Ethan. It's good to see you. I'm glad you don't hate me after all this election stuff. What a mess. Anyway. So, further discussion, let's talk about Clinton. Clinton is not a progressive. She was never a progressive. Now she's a Democrat in name only. She supported Barry Goldwater's campaign. On top of that, she was kicked out of that for some very fraudulent things. So her string of lack of ethics has gone on for decades. Hi, Wesley, and thank you, Ethan. So yeah, she was a Goldwater girl. Goldwater opposed the Civil Rights Act. So while Donald Trump may be openly racist, I can appreciate him at least saying what he thinks versus being passive-aggressively racist, as Clinton is and was, and probably always will be. Hillary Clinton was also on the board of directors for Walmart from 1988 through 1994. Walmart is now the United States' largest employer. They set the standards industry-wide. They're one of the lowest paid employers and the largest recipients of welfare benefits, which Bill Clinton helped cut. If you can't pay your workers a living wage, you don't deserve my business, and you don't deserve to be in business. Do you hear that, Walton family? Your dad built this empire. All you're doing is mooching off of it and creating a dependent, poor working class. You're part of the problem. I don't care how much money you have. You don't deserve it. So yeah, she helped set us up for success. Clinton did. And then in addition, once Trump helped destabilize the GOP this season, it was no coincidence that the Bush money and the Koch brothers money crossed over to Clinton, because she's not a real Democrat. To me, it looked like they were trying to consolidate the two corporate parties to have a one-party system like China. Obviously, China's one-party system doesn't work. They murder dissidents. People disappear and are tortured. China never deserved for us to normalize relations with them, trade relations. You know why? Because our multinational corporations are abusing workers in that country that lack the same labor protections that we do. That's what NAFTA did. That's how they ship jobs elsewhere. Yeah, they make more money because they don't have to pay their workers, except maybe 10 cents an hour or less. Great job, capitalist. Your system is perfection. I don't know how I've maintained nonviolence up to this point. I've wanted to burn DC for years. The Columbia Act of 1871 created a nation-state that rules over us. DC does not deserve that power. The Vatican does not deserve that power. We are a secular pluralist nation, and we have separation of church and state. We should have separation of corporation and state too. But however, our state is a corporation. Back on topic. But there is a roadmap for progressives. You can mostly gather it from looking at other industrialized nations, places like the United Kingdom, Iceland, Germany. Germany has higher education standards, and also you can be from anywhere in the world and go to Germany and study in school for free. Here in America, I have $20,000 in debt and I still don't have a degree yet. Thanks, Obama. It's not just his fault, but he sure didn't help anything. Okay. Hi, Kate. It's good to see you. Okay. So we have a problem with big money in politics. Oh, by the way, please share this video if you want. I don't care if I become popular off this, but maybe some of your friends will appreciate what I have to say. It's at your discretion. You're a free person. I'm not a dictator, whatever. So, big money in politics. We really need to move to amend Citizens United. Corporations are not people. Money is not free speech. They don't have heartbeats. They shouldn't be immortal. There was a book my friend gave me. It was on corporations. I forgot what it was. I'll have to ask Chelsea what the name of the book was. I have it here, but I'm in the middle of a discussion, so I'm going to finish that first. So yeah, corporations were originally profit-seeking. They were kind of like in a way, they were communes when this country first started. You know, the monarchy sent them to this country to find gold or the fountain of youth or whatever imaginative things the monarchies wanted to gain power over. I don't fucking know. But yeah, corporations were supposed to have a limited time span. They were chartered by the monarchs so that the monarchs could maintain control over the new capitalistic construct versus feudalism and the aristocracy that we used to have. They used to have a time span. The corporations, once they finished whatever their mission statement was, they were put out of commission. There was no such thing as an immortal corporation. That's a contemporary ideology about what a corporation should be, just so you can understand how the idea of corporations have evolved over time. So yeah, we ignored WikiLeaks, despite the fact that WikiLeaks has a 100% accuracy rate. We ignored them. We choose to make up false accusations against Julian Assange and force people like Edward Snowden to take asylum in Russia, or we keep people like Chelsea Manning imprisoned and in solitary confinement and, you know, passed after her making 2 suicide attempts. This is insane, y'all. We live in a police state. It may look all pretty and rosy and stuff on the TV, but it's not. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed. I'm discussing the alternatives, Amar. I humbly invite you all to pay attention to my wall and the groups that I'm involved in. So I've long been involved in revolutionary activities as well as networking and coordinating with others. I understand what I've done so far may not have been good enough. I seek to learn every day and continue to improve my methods. I hope you can understand that I am human and I have shortcomings. I'm not perfect. I just do the best I can with what I have where I am. Amar, please don't start with demonizing socialism. It's just a word. I could demonize capitalism as much as I could demonize socialism, so just because someone says socialist does not mean they're a Nazi, okay? Let's be real here. I'm not touching that. I'm going back to what I meant to discuss today. If you want to talk socialism, we've had socialism in this country for decades. What the hell do you think the social safety net is? We all fund the military. We all fund education. We all fund libraries. We all fund our local, state, and federal governments. Obamacare. These are elements. We have a socialistic, capitalistic economy. That's just the way it is. We don't want pure capitalism. We don't want crony capitalism because they just prop up these failed corporations. If these corporations had been doing the right thing the whole time, they would have never needed state assistance. And that's just the way it is. It's just sad that we have a government that's all too willing to dish out $16 trillion to bail out corporations for the policies that they made to help crash our economy. Yet we can't bail out our student debts, 1.5 trillion. Where are our priorities as a nation? That's something I'd really like to know. So yeah, among the many instances of corruption that we ignored from WikiLeaks, one of the main ones was super PAC coordination of both Trump and Clinton. You know, when they created these super PACs, where corporations and individuals could give unlimited amounts of political money to hate on each other, the law was supposed to be there would be no coordination between the politicians and the super PACs that supported them. However, they do it anyway. At this point, we need to take away the mechanism that allowed them to do this. So we need to move to amend the Constitution and overturn Citizens United. This may take a national convention. It's work. It's hard. I'm sorry if you don't like the solutions that I'm providing. Good things don't come easy. Corruption does. So yeah, we basically had nationally syndicated fear tactics from the mainstream media oligopoly. You can thank Bill Clinton for creating this mess. Decades ago, the United States had 88 news media corporations. Because of Bill Clinton's Telecommunications Act of 1996, they make a lot more money, but we only have 6. Sounds like we've homogenized the news supply. And we ignored dissension and protest and alternative perspectives. That's the reality here. So lobbyists with big money get more help than real citizens. Real citizens only get about 30% of the legislation they actually want. The people with money get pretty much everything. Unless we did what we did with the TPP and what we're doing with Apple. That's, at this point, that's our only point of recourse since our elected leadership is not helping at all. All right. Finally, I want to move to my final speaking topic. It's the longest. It discusses the effects of Clinton and Bush policies. How did we get here today? Let us discuss the actions that we have taken that have created the reality that we live in right now, here and now, in the United States of America and globally. Are you ready? It may be a little hurtful. I'll try not to be mean. You might find it offensive, but you know what? Sometimes, okay, the truth is not meant to be a comfort. It's meant to wake you up, okay? You don't ignore truth. You accept what you hear, you do some research, and you come to your own conclusions. That's what journalists do. That's what people with critical thinking skills do. That's what people who are not beholden to the entire moneyed system do. The reason I'm still poor right now is because I've yet to sell out. I could have sold out long time ago. Hell, I'm sure the Rothschilds would offer me trillions of dollars to get off their back, but I'm not going to stop criticizing their Federal Reserve System, or the fact that 100 years of central banking in this country has led to 100 years of global warfare. But that's another topic. If we want to talk about central banking, how about we return regulation of the money